So, y'all, I believe Jack Harlow came out with a new song featuring Doja Cat. I don't think it's Doja Cat featuring Jack Harlow, but honestly, I don't think that that matters as it pertains to this, okay? So, in the music video, and I have not watched the full music video, but folks are posting snippets of it on social media, right? In the music video, Jack Harlow is kissing all on Doja Cat's neck, and there's a lot of flirtatious stuff going on, right? So, a black guy posted on Twitter, he was like, has Doja Cat ever met a white man she did not want, right? And I'm cracking up because y'all, I'm gonna just play the intro. Okay, and then we're gonna get into it. Now, I will say I don't know about that guy specifically, okay? But I'm going to speak in general because I noticed this very weird dynamic that black men and biracial women have, right? Now, I personally don't really see this happen with black women and biracial men. But y'all comment if y'all think otherwise, if y'all have experienced otherwise or whatever, right? But again, I mostly see this happening with black men and biracial women. And let me tell you what it is, right? Now, the black community in general, this goes for black men and black women. The black community in general tends to uphold the one drop rule, right? And that means that they will claim that biracials are black. Now, that, like I said, in general, is something that black men and black women do, right? But there's a difference in how black men and black women approach biracial people as dating partners. And let me explain what I observe. I tend to see black men pushing biracial women to only date black men. And I don't really see black women pushing biracial men to only date black women, right? Now, again, like I said, black men and black women both pretend that biracials are black. Y'all know in Flowertopia, biracials are not black. But we speaking on the black community as a whole, yes, black people in general do pretend that biracials are black. But again, it manifests differently when it comes to dating, right? And I would venture so far as to say, I feel like it manifests itself differently because subconsciously, y'all know biracials are not black. So y'all don't actually treat them like black people for real. Now, you might sit here and lie and pretend that they black, right? But when you look at the dating trends, your behaviors don't really line up with that, right? Because this is the thing, right? You'll notice, again, that black women aren't really hounding biracial men to date black women or only date black women or anything like that, right? Because black women in general tend to date black men exclusively, right? But black men in general, they tend to date interracially more, right? And because of that, they do go after biracial women. Because again, I feel like subconsciously, even though the average black person is calling biracials black, they don't actually consider them black. And again, you can see that by how the dating trends play out. If black men and black women really viewed biracials as black, then you would see black women really like going after biracial men in the way that the average black woman exclusively dates black men, right? But you don't really see that because black women, again, are less likely to date interracially. And the opposite is true. If black men really viewed biracial women as black, you wouldn't see them going so hard to make sure that biracial women only date black men. Because realistically, again, black men are more likely to date out, and they don't really care about black women exclusively dating them because the average self-hating black man doesn't care anything about dating black women, right? So I'm saying that to say something, okay? Because Doja Cat is a biracial woman. And let's be for real, something that I've called out on my YouTube a couple of times is that whenever you have a super pro-black man, right? One of them men who's like, oh, Grand Rising, Alkaboon and Queen, you know what I'm saying? They are never in a relationship with a black woman, ever. Like literally, it's usually a biracial woman who they're calling black, or maybe somebody light, bright, and nearly white. You know what I'm saying? Like, never a dark-skinned, unambiguous black woman, right? And I'm saying all this for a reason. Because, again, Doja Cat just came out with this new video with Jack Harlow kissing all on him, and black men are highly offended by it. And I'm laughing because, realistically, a biracial person, well, in the case of mulattoes, somebody half white and half black, right? They're just as much white as they are black. So it's just as valid for them to date a white person as it is for them to date a black person, right? But y'all will sit here and harass them about only dating black people, even though that makes no sense. I'd be so confused because you all attempt to hold biracials to standards of blackness that you don't even hold yourself to as an actual black person, right? So y'all will sit there and tell biracials, oh, you should only be dating black people. But you're not only dating black people. You chasing after the children of white folks. That's not dating black people, right? But you'll tell biracials that they can only date black people. What sense does that make? And you have to, come on now. Let's unpack it for real though, right? You hate yourself. That's why you are constantly chasing after non-black people, right? You can't stand yourself, and your worst nightmare is to be in a relationship with somebody with similar features as yours and have kids who look like you. Y'all remember when Kodak Black, mind you, Kodak Black is Haitian, before y'all try to pretend that this is only a black American phenomenon or whatever, right? Y'all remember when Kodak Black, as dark skinned as he said some shit like, oh yeah, I don't want no crispy ass kids. Yeah, that's why I don't date whatever, so and so, right? Y'all can't stand yourselves. And that's why you sit there and you chase after everything but black people. And you'll jump through all these hoops, right? You'll pretend that biracials are black, so technically you're somehow still in a black relationship, whatever, right? But we all know that's not true, right? You, yourself, as a black person, refuse to date somebody with two black parents, but you're going to tell the child of a white person, somebody with a white parent and a black parent, they can only date people with two black parents. This is not rooted in any sort of logic. Like, it's just not. This is my thing. Somebody who is half black and half something else is just as valid dating their other half as they are dating a black person. Because, again, they're just as black as they are that other thing, right? So just period off jump, it doesn't make sense to tell biracials that they can only date black people, right? But then let's take it a step further, because I like Doja Cat's music. When she drops something, I usually listen to it, okay? Because I think she makes good music. Now, I haven't listened to this Jack Harlow thing because I'm not really a fan of Jack Harlow, but I might give it a quick little listen just because Doja Cat's in it, right? So that being said, I've looked Doja Cat up and stuff. I know her upbringing and all of that stuff, right? So Doja Cat has a South African father and a white Jewish mother, right? I believe her mother is Jewish, okay? So her South African dad had kids with this white woman in California or wherever they're from, right? And would you believe he ran off back to South Africa and completely abandoned Doja Cat, and I think she has a brother, right? Now, this is the thing. Some people are going to look for excuses. Oh, maybe he got deported. Maybe he didn't have money to visit so and so and so. No, he ran off and abandoned them just like that, okay? And this is the other thing. Her dad is a rich actor. He had plenty of money to come visit them or fly them out to South Africa to see him or whatever, right? He just didn't because he did not give a fuck. Like, I remember there was a clip of Doja Cat meeting Whoopi Goldberg, right? And she was like, oh my God, like you were in a movie with my dad. And Whoopi Goldberg was like, really? Who's your dad, right? And then, Doja Cat said his name. And she was like, oh, yeah, right? Her dad is a big shot actor, okay? So he had all of the means to be in Doja Cat's life, and he didn't. Doja Cat was abandoned by her South African daddy, right? To the point where I believe she couldn't even pronounce her first name, right? Her first name is Zulu or something. I don't know, some South African language, right? And apparently she was pronouncing it wrong. And I remember she had said her name in a video, and a bunch of South Africans were commenting under like, how can't you even pronounce your name right? Maybe because her South African daddy abandoned her. Like what? Like, y'all look fucking stupid, right? But anyway, this is my point. Her daddy abandoned her. She grew up around all white people, quite literally. I will say this. Like, Doja Cat, like her personality, culturally, she gives white, okay? Now, racially, she's biracial, right? But like culturally and how she acts like a weird white person. And that's understandable because she grew up around all white people, right? And this is my thing. Again, just the fact that she's biracial, period, means that in no way is she obligated to only date black people. But then add in the fact that her black father abandoned her. Yeah, she may very well have some animosity towards black people or black men specifically because of that. Like realistically. And she's not the only one. I told y'all when I was 14 or 15 years old, I went to Blue Lake, right? And there was a biracial girl in my cabin. And one day we ended up in the cabin alone. Like, I think it was break time and we had both went back to the cabin. But some people, they had minors, so they were in class or whatever, going for a walk, whatever, right? So we were in the cabin alone and this girl had a whole mental breakdown. I guess I was the first black person she'd ever met. I don't know. This girl is just like I said, having a breakdown. She's like, yeah, and I have a lot of animosity towards black people because my black dad abandoned me. And I'm just sitting there like, ooh, okay, girl, tell the truth and shame the devil. Because, like, I don't know what to tell you. What am I supposed to say about this, right? But this is my other point, right? We also need to acknowledge the fact that a lot of these biracials, their black parent is the father, and half the time these niggas be abandoning their kids. And that's not unique to biracials at all, because I grew up in Detroit with pretty much all black folks, and a lot of black folks in Detroit didn't have no daddies, okay? So we also need to talk about the fact that you all are sitting here pretending that biracials are black and trying to hold them to black standards, but not only are they just not black, period, but then in addition to that, they have no exposure to black people. They grew up around all non-black people, so and so and so, because of the fact that you niggas be abandoning them. Like, you know what I'm saying? At least like when you're black, right? Like full black, actually black, and your daddy abandoned you, you still gonna be culturally black because your mama black. You still grew up, for example, in Detroit around all black people, so and so and so, right? But when you're biracial and your black parent abandons you, then like, come on, you're going to end up culturally something else. You're not going to identify with black people at all. So again, why are you all constantly harassing these biracial women to only date black men when they don't have anything in common with black people? Not only are they just not black, period, they don't have shit in common with black people either. Realistically, I don't date white men, but let's pretend that I did, okay? Like, black people and white people have nothing in common. Like, literally, we don't have anything in common. And that's kind of true of black people and non-black people, period. Like, we are just so far, like, removed from each other. It just is what it is, right? So you telling somebody who's, first of all, not racially black, and then they grew up around all non-black people, you telling them that they, like, y'all, a good example. Y'all know I watch that goofy show Baddies. Well, not really, because I ain't got a Zoo subscription, but I be watching Hampton Spears review the episodes, right? And everybody's always saying how Big Lex is so corny. And she is. Like, when you see her confessionals, it's very corny. She be like, yeah, Big Lex, not the little one. I'm going to dog walk that girl. I'm going to walk her like a dog. Like, it'd be like, girl, right? Like, she is very corny, but realistically, she's biracial. She's not black. So, like, the corn is coming from the fact that she's trying to, be a black woman, but she's not, though. Like, and then again, not only is she biracial, not black, but her mama is non-black. And again, like, mothers instill most of the culture. You're going to identify more heavily with your mother than your father, period, even if your father is in your life, right? So it's like, she's not black, but y'all are forcing blackness onto her, and it's not fitting well at all, right? And I'm saying all this to say, black men are constantly harassing biracial women into only dating them and so and so and so and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, realistically, first of all, them bitches don't want you. Like, you don't even want yourself. You're black and you don't even want to date black people. Can you really be mad that a non-black person doesn't want to date black people? Like, come on, let's be for real, right? So first of all, realistically, them bitches don't want you, okay? And then on top of that, it's like, not only are they not black racially, but they have nothing in common with you culturally either. So they extra don't want your ass. Like,